Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah, hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah, hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah.
الحمد لله الشاملة رأفته العامة رحمته الذي جاز عباده عن ذكرهم بذكره، فقال تعالى: فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون. وراقبهم في السؤال والدعاء بأمره فقال: ادعوني أستجب لكم. فأطمع المطيع والعاصي والداني والقاصي في رفع الحاجات والأماني بقوله: فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعان. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله سيد أنبيائه صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه خيرة أصفيائه وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد، فإن ذكر الله تعالى ورفع الحاجات إليه أفضل العبادة تؤدى باللسان بعد تلاوة القرآن. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: لا يقعد قوم يذكرون الله تعالى إلا حفتهم الملائكة وغشيتهم الرحمة ونزلت عليهم السكينة وذكرهم الله في من عنده. This hadith that we just recited right now, in which Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentioned in regards to those of us who gather, and the best of the gathering days throughout the week is of course Yawm al-Jumu'ah. We have high hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed the malaika to encompass us, surround us, and we certainly have high hope of the descending of Sakina, inshaAllah. And of course we gather here weekly on Yawm al-Jumu'ah, last week being the first after a very long break. And we find ourselves just being bombarded on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, with many, many new developments, nationally as well as globally. And of course we cannot ignore the elephant in the room, and the topic we just want to remind ourselves today is regarding racism. Many a times we need to just refocus and do some personal rectification and pondering regarding our own selves, our own household. And many a times we will find in the conversations that we do carry amongst each other, it could be in the in a very privacy setting, many a times our expressions might have undertonings of racism. And sometimes we make subtle jokes, we make certain judgment calls that of course incriminate an entire group of people. And we can just look at our own personal selves. We can easily suspect a certain race versus another race. But when we are questioned directly, we will all deny that I am not a racist. I myself am not a racist. This is the common theme. But let's look at what defines racism. Racism can be defined as a prejudice, of discrimination, or a certain type of belief system deep within our hearts and minds. And it could be directed towards a certain race of people. That me, myself, and my entire race is superior to the group or the race that I am comparing myself to. A very simple definition of racism is that I assume my race to be superior to the one that I'm comparing myself to. So again, this includes making racial remarks towards someone of a different skin color, a different culture, different language, different religion. The list can go on and on. But of course, we try and remind ourselves with the verses of the Quran, with the Sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentions that truly your blood, your property, and your honor are sacred. These three are sacred categories that we need to look into deeper, but of course regarding the time, very, very brief, we'll just go over them quickly. What is it meant by family and honor? Family and honor are things that make up a person. Genetically, physically, emotionally, this is what makes a person. And insulting someone physically or emotionally is of course a violation. It violates basic etiquette. We find and remind ourselves regarding the very famous and very frequently recited verses of Surah Al-Hujurat. Surah Al-Hujurat is regarding the chapter on the apartments, and specifically the apartments of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses all mankind. Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qabaila lita'arafu. Inna akramakum 'inda Allahi atqakum. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds all mankind that we have created you from a male and a female, and we have made you into nations, tribes, so that you may get to know one another. Truly the noblest one from amongst you is the one who is the most pious, the one who has the most level of taqwa. Now, are we going to hold such a heavy burden in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we do come in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Yawm al-Qiyamah, having not only violated these verses, but having and harboring animosity, a superiority complex over Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation, when He subhanahu wa ta'ala and the beloved Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam directly commanded us against having such beliefs and undertones. And again, we can just constantly remind ourselves regarding this. And that is the benefit of reminding ourselves. وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَى تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. A reminder, truly, it benefits us. And inshallah, in the second portion of the khutbah, we'll go over some more examples on this topic. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون. وقال الله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن يكون خيرا منهم ولا تلمزوا أنفسكم ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان ومن لم يتب فأولئك هم الظالمون. بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم إنه تعالى جواد كريم ملك بر رؤوف رحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم. We can give many examples, and specifically from the best of generations, the generation of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, where people of color, they were very close to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and we all know, for example, Sayyidina Bilal radiallahu anhu, the wet nurse of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Sayyida Halima radiallahu anhu, the first martyr, the first shaheed in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Sayyida Sumayya radiallahu anha, Luqman Hakim, the list goes on and on. Very pious individuals in our history where we can benefit from, learn regarding them, what they taught us, what type of tradition and way of life they left behind for all of us in 2020 and beyond to benefit from, to learn from, to share with others as well. That what does Islam say regarding this very topic? Now, in conclusion, we can mention that our religion is a very practical religion. It is a religion for all times. It was a religion during the time of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, going back all the way up to Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. The same message was carried out, spreading Tawheed, the concept of Nabuwah, the concept of Risala, belief in the hereafter. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was a realist. He taught us that there are certain things that we need to rectify within ourselves, but certain topics and certain categories will always exist. They will always exist in the nation, in the ummah, until the end of time. And one of those things that will always exist is this very concept of racism. Racism will always exist. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam taught us that. The hadith is such that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال أربع في أمتي من أمر الجاهلية لا يتركهن الفخر في الأحساب والطعن في الأنساب والاستسقاء بالنجوم والنياحة. These four things Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned that these are part of the practices of the days of ignorance. They will always remain. And the first thing that he mentioned was this very thing, being boastful and being proud of who I am, where I come from, my culture, my people, my nation, the color of my skin. This will always exist. But Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam reminded us that eradicating it and attempting to eliminate it begins with ourselves. And we constantly strive towards it. So we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us that opportunity to eradicate and eliminate this racism from deep within our hearts and minds. And we certainly make dua that He subhanahu wa ta'ala allows for us also to pass on to our future generations that there is no superiority complex except for the concept of taqwa. اللهم ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون.